Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm excited to bring on my next guest, the amazingly talented Phil Morris, who's been in stuff such as Seinfeld, Superman and Red Son, Secret Saturdays, multiple Star Trek titles. He is a legend in the field, and I can't wait to bring him on. Can I please get a rounding round of applause for the amazing, the talented Phil Morris? Mr. Cram, what are you doing? There we go. I got scared. Jump scared me for a little bit. Okay.
It's all good, man.
How you doing today?
I'm good. Now I'm good. We both good now.
Yes, we are. Because I was very scared. But welcome. Before I get into the questions, I would just like to say how much of a huge honor and humbling experience this is for me. Thank you so much for joining and allowing me the opportunity to speak with you, and you taking time out of your day to come speak with me. It's a huge honor and a privilege. You've been a major part of my childhood as a kid. I've heard your voice since I was little. I've seen you in things that I've loved, and it's just a huge honor, and I hope you enjoy your time here. And thank you so much again.
Oh man, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so sorry I was late. I've been so busy. No excuse. But it took me a minute to try to connect, and so I'm just glad that we made it happen, and technology is on our side.
Yes. Some cool things I found out about you before I get into the nitty-gritty of the interview is that I found out you were born in Iowa, but you were raised in California. What was that like?
Well, I mean, my parents were going to school in Iowa, so they had me there, and my father moved to LA to start his acting career. Actually, he moved to Seattle, and one thing led to another. Moved down to LA, sent for us. We came to LA. I was brought up here, in Beverly Hills, really. And then when my dad's show got started, Mission Impossible, and he did well. We were like the Clampetts, man. We moved to Beverly. And I grew up in Beverly Hills and had a great upbringing and had two amazing sisters. And, man, this journey is just a dream. It's a dream.
Yeah, that's something that I dream of, too. It's just amazing to see you in all of this stuff and, like, where you started and how you got into the industry. I mean, like you said, you come from this family with like an acting background, so I know that must have been amazing to go on set, see the actors interact, and have those connections even going into your later life.
Yeah, no, you're speaking the truth because I was 6-7 years old when the show Mission Impossible started, and it was at the Desilu lot right before Paramount bought it from Desi Arnaz Jr. and Lucille Ball. All right, actually Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball. So we were on the set since 7 years old, going on Star Trek sets, and there were no hot sets then. There were no real security guards. We were able to go anywhere. We had full reign. It was, we grew up with the Brady Bunch. It was nuts. We would meet them, and we met so many wonderful people. My father was really very open with his experience, and it's no mystery why I do what I do. It just spoke to me, man. It was like growing up at Disneyland, and as a kid, it could be no better. There could be no better place, I was very, very fortunate.
Another thing I find out about you, which I think is the coolest, is that you're a studier and teacher of martial arts, and you're actually a practitioner of Wing Chun. I don't know how to say that.
That's so funny. Wing Chun Kung Fu. What I was doing right before I got here was editing a cover shoot that I did over the weekend for a magazine that I'll be on the cover of very soon. So that literally was, and I was like, oh no, I gotta go. And so I was on my computer, which is why my computer didn't hook up, because I was looking at the pictures from the computer. I had to rush into my office and get on the thing. Too much explanation. But yes, I am a martial artist. I am a Wing Chun disciple. I've studied many martial arts, but Wing Chun is really my solid home art. And I studied with a beautiful Sifu named Hawkins Chung for decades. He was one of Bruce Lee's training partners and fellow students of Ip Man back in Hong Kong. So I was very fortunate to find him. And if any of you see the documentary called Like Water, which is on 30 for 30 on ESPN, the very first line in the whole documentary is a letter being narrated or being spoken about that Bruce Lee wrote. And the first line is, "Dear Hawkins," and that's my teacher. So Bruce was writing a letter to Hawkins, and they feature it in this, 30 for 30 special on Bruce. And it just, my Sifu's wife called me, "Did you see that? I was like, yeah, I saw that." So we talked about my father and that journey. And then I've been so fortunate with the best mentors ever, acting coaches, martial arts teachers, art instructors. I've just been very fortunate with the people who have guided me along my path. And I think that's really important for people who are listening. Yeah, we do a lot on our own, but to find the right mentors, the right lights out there. They say when the student is ready, the master will appear. It was very much like that in my life. So martial arts has helped me tremendously, especially in this business, which is nuts. There is nothing. I mean, you see the Seinfeld picture behind me. I got a whole 20,000 issue comic collection in my room. I mean, I'm in it, man. I see you, bro. I see you. You rep it. I like it, Jay. So what I do is so fun. What I do is so amazing. And that's why I keep doing it. That's why I'm super blessed today.
Yeah. As you can see, I got a ton of them. Got signed stuff and all that stuff, comics and.
Well, I'll show you my new stuff. Just came. What's it? Yeah. Just came. Hold on. I'm coming. Fantastic Four. Wow. Right. Number 2, Volume 2, Volume 1. Right here. That's what I do.
That's how
I roll.
I love the Fantastic Four. It sucks they can never get the movies right, but I mean, hey, they have great comics. Those are huge. Oh my gosh.
And I have most of these issues in my collection.
Like the original ones? Like
Heck yeah, Fantastic Four 52. Why is that so important?
Isn't that the one with Black Panther?
Yes! Boom. Boom, boom, boom. You thought this was going to be a normal interview. Oh no, bro. Oh no.
None of my interviews are normal, so don't worry about it. What is one childhood memory that you would say defines you as a person?
One?
Difficult question, isn't it?
Well, I'm not young anymore, so I have to go back to think about what one bit of business was really important for me. I'll have to say the first time I ever visited the Mission Impossible set, maybe. Let's just talk about kind of we'll combine the journey of my career and my profession with that. The first time I went to the set, it was like going to Magic Land. I don't even know, Magicville, a magic town. Because you have to understand, I'm 7 years old. You go on a set for the first time. Really, it was my first time. And it's dark, and there's like the boom mics, and the cameras were huge at that time. And everything smells so like old because it was on the Paramount lot. You know what I mean? And I'll never forget how that affected me. I'm like, I love this world. I love this world. I hadn't decided to be in it. I was an athlete, an artist, and all that stuff before. But going on that set for the first time it changed my life.
Well, that begs the question then, with you coming from an acting background, of course, your father being a legend in the industry, was there ever any time in your life where you considered doing anything else, or has the acting bug always been inside your DNA?
No, I never wanted to do it as a kid. Why? Because a couple things. One is when you're the only boy, and you get asked questions or interviews and stuff, and the first question is, "Are you going to follow in your father's footsteps, little Greg?" And I'd be like, first, it's Phil. Number one, it's Phil. Number two, no, I'm going to be me. And so for my whole, I'm a middle child. I'm the only boy. I'm a super rebel, and I was like, nah, I got to be myself. And so that's why I started martial arts early. I was an artist early. I draw. I went to Art Center for a hot minute. I was a track athlete, and automotive design was my thing. I'm a big car fanatic. So that's what I thought I was going to do. And then one year after I graduated high school at 17, my father came to me and said, I'm going to do this movie, and it'd be great if you got a summer job. So I set up a meeting with the director and go see if there's a gig for you. So I met this director, Bob Totten. Rotten Totten was his name. And he's like, you're great. Yeah, sure. Come on, the movie, PA. We'll be out in the Mojave Desert shooting Army stuff. I'm like, Army stuff? Awesome. So I joined this movie, and I went on location. I spent 6 of the greatest weeks of my life with my dad, Henry Fonda, Billy D. Williams, Chad Everett, Merle Haggard. I mean, what? Buck Henry? Stop it. on location, 17 years old, living the life. And I got a check at the end of it. And when I came back to LA, I said to my dad, okay, I want to do this. I want to do this. And he put me in an acting class. And that's it, man. That's how it all began.
That's cool to, you know, I interviewed sons of famous people. I interviewed Jamie Bennington, who was, of course, the son of Chester Bennington, the famous singer of Linkin Park. And he is always keen on, he doesn't, even though he loves his father, he doesn't like that people are like, oh, since, you know, Chester's gone, you're going to be the new singer in Linkin Park, or this, that, and the third. And he always talks to me about how he wants to be Jamie, not little Chester. He wants to be Jamie Bennington. I mean, that's why when he made his film, he went under a surname, because he just wanted to do his own thing and create his own path. And I completely understand what that must be like, to just want to be like, dang, I want to be me. I'm Phil Morris. I'm not my father. I want to be my own. And I completely feel and understand that, to just want to be your own person and create your own path. And in a way, you have done that. I mean, look at what you're in. I mean, you're a voice actor and an on-camera actor. Like, look at you. Like, your Secret Saturdays, you know, Justice League Unlimited, you know, stuff like that. And you really created your path in this industry to make you stand out in the crowd of, like, so many amazing Black entertainers in this industry. And, you know, Seinfeld, all that stuff that's inspiring me personally as an upcoming person who wants to be an actor, inspiring me to go higher and do things that I want to do and create my own path. Because a lot has changed since I've been a little kid. I mean, you know, when you're a little kid, they always ask, what do you want to be? And I'd say, I want to be the president of the United States. I don't want to do that anymore. No. Too much stress, and that's a lot of pressure. You know, then I wanted to be a taxi driver, then I wanted to be a firefighter. Was like, and now I'm just so set on this industry entertainment path, and it's just, you know, I'm so glad I've had people who've supported me through my journey to get where.
Well, like I said, we need that, right? We need supporters, we need champions, we need mentors, we need a good village. And I do want to add one thing to being an offspring or a legacy person. I think when we're trying to get out of the shadow of the giant shoulders that we stand on, we have to remember that our people, whether it's your mother, your father, your aunt or uncle, whoever's in your family who did it, who made it, they went through some tough stuff. You know, they were challenged. So I would encourage all of us who are offspring not to throw the baby out with the bathwater, not to try to be yourself so much that you denigrate those who came before you, or you don't learn the lessons of those who come before you, you don't honor those who came before you. You certainly have idols in the business or whatever business you're in who are not part of your family. Why can't your family be a part of that idolatry that you respect so much, you know? And so I've learned to really expect or respect my father and honor him as time goes by. And I have, you know, I've scored out my own road, my own journey. And I am Phil Morris, full stop. Always have been, always will be. And I think we make a mistake when we think that shadow is so large that we have to struggle to fight to come out from under it. That's your own personal struggle, and it's everybody's personal struggle, regardless of whether you're in the industry or you're not. And I just want people to, you know, embrace their people more and embrace the loved ones around them, because I definitely fought against it. And I don't think it helped me. I really don't. I think it hurt me in terms of, you know, being bullheaded and hard-headed, and that's not the way of an artist. You know, that's not the way for an artist to really accept those things around their influences around them. And your people who are in the industry, musical, whatever before you, they deserve that respect, and you can learn a lot from their journey.
That's heavy on that. I can't relate, but I mean, I kind of can in a way, you know, because sometimes you just want to do something so different that it, you know, I think I was listening to someone talk about it. Sometimes you try so hard to be different that you just end up being the same, you know, similar in this own little path. And I completely relate and understand that, because, you know, I've tried so hard to stray away from who I am as a person due to personal trauma and bullying that I've been through in my own personal life, and that hasn't helped me at all. It's made a ton of things worse, just trying to be someone that I wasn't. But it is important to just remember who you are and respect the people that have come before you, and learn and watch and listen. So many people nowadays don't want to listen. it's important to listen and understand and comprehend and take from the people that have come before you, learn from their mistakes, learn how they talk, and just make your own path and be your own unique human being. And that's all I got to say on that. But,
yeah, bro.
At what point in your life did you realize that this acting thing was like full speed ahead, let's do it, nothing else matters?
I was, when I got back from that movie shoot, I was struggling with the work, and I was struggling with auditions, because I would go in and they'd see me as my father, or they go, oh, this is Greg Morse's son, Phil. Oh, come on in, Phil. I was always being looked at as that, just to get back to that a bit. And I went to my acting coach and I went, look, I just want to be me. I just want to walk in the door and try to figure out myself. He goes, well, then you have to work on your craft. You have to work on your craft. So you're bringing something that is unique and authentic. And right now, you're just a young actor. You don't know. You're a grab bag of just emotions and stuff. And how do we refine that? How do we tune that in? Literally, as we're having this conversation in the box office of the theater, he got a phone call. And he says, hold on. It's for you. Literally. It wasn't for me, but this director needed a young African-American actor who was good at improv. And that was me. And so that weekend, I went to go join this theater group that was doing a play called Gangs. Now, this play never came to bear, never came to fruition. We never made it to Broadway. But I got a chance to work with some of the greatest Broadway actors at that time. Jeff Conaway, who had just come off the road company of Grease. Adrian Zmed, who was playing Danny Zuko in the road company of Grease. Gail Edwards, who was playing in the road company of Grease. And so many other wonderful actors, Bruce Scott and John Hostetter, and these wonderful veteran actors who, as a 17-year-old, I firmly believe, man, that experience was only there for me to get my experience, because the show went nowhere. But I gained such a great village of support and understanding of what being a professional actor, showing up every day, rehearsing your ass off, learning to dance and sing, which I didn't do. But I did, because I was fearless, right? It was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had, because it started me to understand what the process was, how to live the life of an actor. My father had showed it to me on one level in the media. This was another level on the stage, which was so impactful for me. And I ate it all up. All these experiences I just ate up, man, and just challenged myself to use them.
And obviously they helped you for the better, because like I said, you've done so much stuff that's just impacted billions of people on the planet. So more kudos to you, of course, for all the amazing stuff you've done and will continue to do. With acting and how long you've been in this industry, of course there comes rejection. And no matter if you're in the industry or not, throughout life you're going to deal with rejection. I wanted to ask you, was there ever a time in your life when the rejection got to you? And if so, how did you bounce back from that?
So one year, I went on, it must have been 7 pilot interviews all the way to network, right? Which is, you go all the way and then you have this amazing audition at network, which is incredibly nerve-wracking and anxiety producing. And I think I was in my late 20s, mid 20s, and like the 7th time. And I'm driving back in my car. I was in my early 30s, and I got the call from my agents going, Phil, you didn't get it. And they gave it to blah, blah, blah. Bro, I pulled my car over. Boom. I rolled the seat all the way back, and I laid down. And I said to myself, I will never allow this business to destroy my nervous system the way it has just done it. And it changed me then. It absolutely changed me. It took me from I want to get the job to being trying to be the best actor I could be. I couldn't control anything else but that. I was out going out and getting jobs and trying to do this and trying to do that. And how come I wasn't getting it? Well, because I was chasing the job. I wasn't investing in the character. I wasn't investing in the given circumstances and the needs of this person who has to be wherever he has to be. I was trying to get the lines right and make sure that I wore the right suit and I had the right shoes. And everything was external and nothing was internal and driven from a place of need, deep need. And it changed me that day. It changed me. And my career changed exponentially as a result.
I think what some people look at rejection as, I think it was Rob Paulson I was speaking to, and he was just
Who I
like,
love dearly. Love Rob.
so nice. I almost cried that day after we finished the interview. He was so nice to me. He was talking about, he looks at rejection as sort of like someone else won that day, and he's gonna get his regardless. He's gonna get his, and for me, rejection has gotten to me at some point. When I do these interviews, you get artists who are, they say no, or you have their agents that respond to you in a certain way, and when they say no, it's made me look at myself in a way. But through some people speaking to me and just talking about rejections, like I'm gonna get it eventually. I'm gonna get what's right for me. And I heard the saying is, what's right for you is going to come to you. You don't have to chase it. It's gonna come to you when you need it the most. And that's always been the case for me. So
I've never really believed in rejection in this business anyway. They don't reject unless you absolutely, excuse me, are horrible and you fall on your face and you call the casting director out of their name or you do something like that. They're not going to reject you. They just don't choose you. They could, like you and I, okay, we go in the same time, same role. You do a great job. I do a great job. They love us both. They can only choose one. As much as they love both of us, they can only choose. We can't both do the role. So one of you isn't going to get it. So are they rejecting you? Or are they just having to choose somebody else? And that's how I look at it. There's a couple things. I don't want a job that I don't get. Not supposed to be mine. I don't want a job that somebody else gets. That's supposed to be theirs. Right? I don't look at rejection that way. That's just somebody got it and mine's out there for me. Like you were just saying. It's not like you go sit home and wait for it. You still go out and do your thing, go to class, do your job, whatever it is that you've got, walk your dog, wash your car, whatever it is you need to do. You're not just hopefully sitting around waiting for it. But it is fated. There are things that happen beyond our control and beyond our conscious knowledge that are for us. And if we are in the truth, whether you call it God or the universe or whatever you want to call it, that wants to conspire with you. Those doors are already open, right? It's waiting for you to walk through them. So when you're ready, you walk through that door. If you're still thinking about rejection and they didn't like me and I'm all bummed out about it, and then you get a call to do another audition and you're bummed out, well, you can't give everything you have to this new moment. Let that moment go. Let this moment live on its own.
It's all negative energy, and it's important to have that positive vibe when whatever you go in or whatever you go through in life. It's important to keep that positive attitude and just remember that, it's going to happen. There's going to be failures and all this stuff that happens around the world. But if you just keep that glimmer of hope and that positive light, it's going to come back to you. And like I said, you're going to get yours regardless. Since you've been in this industry and you started so young, as someone who, such as myself, who is going to be an actor and is actively trying to get in the industry, what would be your advice to someone such as myself?
Keep having fun. Keep playing. They call them plays, screenplays, teleplays, plays. You're supposed to play. So if it gets to my dad said to me, I've never worked one day in my life. I just go and play. I just go and involve myself with other actors, and we create and we make something out of nothing. That's not work. That's I'm using the word magic quite a bit. That's magic, and that's why we're here, right? And I've been telling a lot of young actors lately, what we do on the level that we do it on, if it's a network level or you're doing a big film or something like that, that's the NBA, that's the NFL, that's the NHL, that's the MLB. It don't get bigger than that. Is just as important as any of those things. It's just as rare as any of those things. And in fact, more so, because more people feel that they can do what we do, what I do, than can play football or can play basketball, because you have to be a certain height, you got to be a certain weight, you got to be a certain quickness and speed. As an actor, you just bring what you got. Who are you? I mean, you're, the sum total of your experiences and your background and your influences. So there's so many more people who want to play the game of acting than who would want to be a football player or a basketball player or whatever. So you're dealing and you're competing with a ton of people. And if you let that get to you, right? We were talking about rejection. If you let that get to you, anxiety, you let it get to you, then you're no longer having fun. You're no longer enjoying the pursuit. And when that starts happening, then you see people act. And you ain't gonna, you shouldn't be acting, just be living, just being. So I always recommend for people, if they go to class, just go to class and enjoy the process. Don't go to be an actor. Like, what I mean by that is, like, don't go then to have drinks with the teacher after. Don't go so you can have coffee with everybody later. Don't live the life of an actor, because you're rarely going to be playing an actor in a role. I mean, what you're going to be playing is a human being, a real person. So go out and climb mountains, race cars, love women or men, whatever you're into. Bring that experience to your work as an actor, as opposed to, I gotta go do my drama today and do the thing. No. I never espouse that. Go live life.
Yeah, I think I was watching an interview. You talked about, do whatever you're passionate in, like do whatever you love, and that passion is going to come with you for those certain things that you love is going to come with you in the main thing you want to do and the main thing you love, and it's going to just be shown in the amount of work and effort that you put in to set products and projects. I completely agree. These interviews help me channel my artistic abilities and just help me write better, or help me pay attention better, or get better at my editing skills, because I gotta edit these things. These joints are long. I gotta edit them, make sure they look good, look clean, audio is nice. I don't want people to hear us and we sound like fish in a fish tank. I gotta make sure it all sounds nice and neat. And these interviews help just charge my passion, speaking to people like you who have such good energy that radiates through the screen. It helps me, makes this whole experience a lot more funner and more enjoyable. So I completely agree with that. As an actor who's done this and done on camera, voice acting and such, mocap, video games, how would you say you've grown as an artist personally?
I hope I have less ego. By that I mean, yeah, I'm strong in it and I'm very confident in what I do, but I don't want to know it all. I want to discover it, and sometimes that's scary, because there's a lot of money on the line, and every take is a lot of money, and every time they roll the camera, it's a lot of money. Every time you show up on set, it's a lot of money. There's a lot of responsibility, but you have to be able to live in that moment and explore it. And I don't know if I always did that. I mean, I've been telling people lately, I'm working so much more now, and I've worked a lot, because I am immersive. I'm 100% all the time. Before I used to be a little lazy, and so what I'm trying to do with my journey is show up for me, be present for me. Not. It's like this, right? I was just as upset that I wasn't connecting with you as you were that I was not connecting with you. It wasn't like I'm going to blow this off and I got other stuff. No. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to have fun. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to show you my stuff. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to be as I don't care if there's 100,000 watching or just you and me hanging out. You know what I mean? And that's not always been my way. And I think that it's taken me a while to really get there. Some people get there and they're there. They stay, they live there, I haven't been that person. So what I want to be now going forward, I don't know how long I have left to do this, but however long I have, I'm going to be as 100% as I can possibly be, so that I get it. And so that when I give it, you get it. Whether it's animation, whether it's on camera, it doesn't matter, or this. And so that's where I've changed. That's how I've grown. And I think you always grow. You always evolve, hopefully.
Yes, you're never the person you were yesterday. You always want to evolve and change and grow to be a better person than you were yesterday. And that's the amazing thing about life, is just getting new experiences, meeting new people, and people enriching your life and helping you hopefully be a better person, and be a better artist, or be a better engineer, or be a better writer, or screen or a set designer. Like, that's the most beautiful thing about the world and the life that we live in. It's just new, enriching, and amazing experiences that help mold us and make us better people than we were yesterday.
Iron sharpens iron, right? Iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely. You've had an extensive on-camera role, and I want to talk about one of your most famous ones, of course, Seinfeld. You played Jackie Chiles in a very funny role. I haven't watched all of Seinfeld, but I watched your clips, and I gotta say, I was laughing and I was having fun. Completely giggling. That's such a long-lasting comedy show, because what do you think? Seinfeld, what? Seinfeld, Friends, How I Met Your Mother. Yeah.
Lucy, yeah, How I Met Your Mother, yeah.
Stuff like that, and that's one up there. So How did you feel when you knew you were going to be a part of Seinfeld?
Absolutely thrilled. However, when I got the role, I hadn't really watched much Seinfeld. So I think that's good. You know, sometimes you can get a little enamored, like, oh my goodness, I'm working with Spielberg. Or, oh my gosh, Brad Pitt's the lead, you know? And so that as an actor, he's like, well, my character doesn't care, you know? It was like, Jackie Childs didn't care who Jerry Seinfeld was. He didn't care who George Costanza was. Jackie Childs was the star of his own universe, you know? But when I went to read for this, yeah, I was thrilled. I mean, of course, the number one show in the nation and maybe in the world at the time, and they'd just been on the cover of Rolling Stone. I had done another series with Michael Richards, so I knew Michael personally, so I wasn't daunted by any of that. And I think, again, that's really good for an actor not to be overwhelmed with the experience. And when I read the dialogue, the rhythms just came to me. I just felt like I knew this cat, you know. He was Johnny Cochran. Yes, we were doing a takeoff of Johnny Cochran, who was in the OJ trial for a year up to that. So we were all completely overwhelmed with his persona. But I threw in a little bit of street corner preacher, you know, a little pimp, a little hustler, you know, a little ambulance chaser. My father's in there somewhere. So we grab these influences from everywhere, and you kind of, hopefully they'll resonate. And with Jackie, oh yeah, it resonated. It was amazing. I loved it. Every time I was on there, it was a party. Every time I was on there, we rocked it. There was never a time I didn't enjoy going on. There was never a time I was nervous or I felt judged or critiqued. They loved everything I did. I loved everything I did, and I loved them.
That's awesome to hear that you had such a great experience on set, man. That's so great, because sometimes you hear when you work on some of these bigger networks or bigger shows, you hear how, you know, years later they come out and talk about this is an awful experience. I hated it. Awful. They're me and this, that, and the third. But it's just always makes my heart happy to hear people have like, good experiences. And
you know, I've learned something a little bit about that, because you're right. People, they get a little upset sometimes about what happens on set. What I've learned, if you bring the heat, you got no problems. If you show up, you're like, you could get slaughtered, because, like I said, this is the NBA, this is MLB, this is NHL, this is the NFL. This is not amateur hour now. They hire you, they cast you, they expect that you're going to bring something that's special. And if you don't bring that thing, then you're letting them down. And like I said, there's a lot of money on the line. And at a certain point, it is show business, baby. It ain't your friend. It ain't your family. It's your business. So the more that I can bring that, and I think that's what I've discovered in the last few years. When I immerse myself, then I just get love from it. Because, I mean, what can you say other than, you know, can we, you know, massage this and let's go here with it and let's go there with it, you know, but not like, huh? That's what you're going to wear? You know what I mean? So immerse yourself and bring the heat, and you won't have any problems.
Of course you do. And what are some fond memories you have of working on the set?
Which set?
The Seinfeld set. I love all of them. And for very different reasons. Jason Alexander, when I went on the show, I didn't know Jason. And Jason was a Jeet Kune Do student. He was training Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do at the time. So we spoke about martial arts. You know, it's like, here he is, a Broadway guy, very well accomplished actor. And what were we doing? We couldn't wait to say, okay, what if you did this and I did that and you did this and I did that? You know, it wasn't about the business. It was about like martial arts and fighting. Jason Alexander. So I love that about him. Michael Richards I've known for a long, long time. So we always had a great time, a great connection with one another. Jerry and I are both car guys. He's a big Porsche fan. I'm a big car fan and have owned a few Porsches. I actually went up to Pebble Beach and met he and Jay Leno up there after I bought one of my Porsches, and we hung out at the Concours d'Elegance right there on, like, yeah, right. Yeah, man. It was beautiful. I love, I almost called her Elaine, Julia. Julia was, listen, they were so welcoming to me and so supportive of me. That I cannot thank them enough. I mean, we're still talking about Seinfeld now, you know. Had they been different, I think that character would not have been recurred, because I would have not brought, again, what we're talking about, I brought the heat, and I felt comfortable bringing the heat.
and I didn't feel judged. I felt like everything I did was gold, and if it wasn't, they were going to help me find better gold. It wasn't as though they were going to go, it stinks. This guy's like a lead balloon. They were, and again, they're veterans. So when they recognized what I was bringing, they were very responsive and very supportive. Larry David too. Just tremendous support for me. Larry and I have such a good relationship. I wasn't there during the table reading for the final episode. I was on the high seas doing the new Love Boat. So when I came back, they said to me, who read your part at the table? And I was like, no, who? Larry. Larry would not let anybody but him read you at the table. So I'm like, oh, right on, Larry.
That's cool. And of course, when you have all these people on set, you're bound to have some funny and great memories, some improv that they put on camera, like this is gold. So what would you say is one of the funniest moments you've had as that character?
Okay, it's very subtle. Very subtle. We're doing the coffee episode. It was the first one that I did. And we're going in to meet the executives. And we'd done the scene once. And so we go back to make the entrance again. And before we made the entrance, Michael says, hey, let's get stuck in the doorway. Let's just get stuck in the doorway. And I'm like, Mike, that's kind of corny, Mike. He goes, no, do it. It'll be great. And so I said, should we tell Cameron? No, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. We're just going to do it. So if you watch this show again, he and I go to enter the room and we get stuck in the doorway. And pop, we go popping out of the doorway. And I'm looking at him and he's looking at me and we're fixing ourselves up. And then we see the executives. It was genius. That simple adjustment, just get stuck in the boom. Then we come in the room, and then my character is completely solidified in that moment. His character is completely solidified in that moment, and then there's the executives. So, the stuff like that, simple, subtle little things that made a big difference. I remember Larry coming over to me one time, and I'm saying a line, and as I'm saying the line, I'm drinking the coffee or whatever I'm drinking, and he goes, no, finish the line. Then drink the coffee. So I'm like, So I finished the line. Done. Huge laughter. I don't know that stuff. That's why they're geniuses. And that's why you collaborate. And that's why you were saying you listen and you hear. And then you kind of hopefully you digest it and process it and regurgitate it into something that's interesting. Right. So you sip it in a normal fashion? Or you sip it you sip it. People are giving my lines from Seinfeld. Love you guys.
Could you give us a little bit of the voice that you did for the character real quick?
Oh, for Jackie?
Yeah.
Well, Jay, you want a fine-looking, sexy man. You know that, right? Mm-hmm. I told you to wear the cardigan. I want you to look like Perry Como. Everybody love Perry Como. What's wrong with you?
So cool. So cool. Just how you got into character like that so fast. Now, I was a little late to you with the on-camera game, personally, but my first time seeing you on camera was, of course, what I want to talk about next, the amazing Doom Patrol TV show. I love that show so much, just the weird, awesome take on it with Alan Tudyk. Of course, you play Silas Stone, the father of Victor Stone, Cyborg, on the show, and you did phenomenally. Your Silas is so different from a lot of the portrayals we've seen. Of course, more recently, we've seen Joe Morton on Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's so different than yours. Yours is kind of a dick, kind of mean, kind of rude to Cyborg, and just kind of very fixated on his goals. And of course, in the first season, whereas, Joe's is just kind of more loving, just want to defend and protect him and just be there for him. And of course, Cyborg, who's done wonderfully by Ray Fisher, just pushes him away. He's like, get away from me, I don't like you, I'm this monster. And what, of course, Javon brings as Cyborg is, of course, another amazing take on Cyborg. So good as what he does, and your guys' back and forth and banter is awesome. Just love what he does with the character as well. And of course, you showed us your little Fantastic Four comic collection. What is your history with comic books, and how did they get introduced into your life?
Oh, they were huge. I started obviously as a kid reading them, and I still have the ones that I bought in 1966 are in my collection right now. I sold none. I sold one group of comics that I bought all of them back. So I've got every single comic I ever had growing up. I've got 20,000 comics. Where do I begin? I mean, I just read them because I love them. They're colorful. They spoke to me. They're athletic. I mean, the physiques and the bodies and the women and the men, amazing. The writing was not for kids. The writing was up here. If you're reading Stan Lee, if you're reading Dennis Cowan, if you're reading, these Denny O'Neil, I should say, they're just brilliant writers, brilliant artists. At the time, it was really, to me, an artist medium. The Neil Adams of the world, the Buscema's of the world, the John Romitas of the world. I was totally, Frank Frazetta, just totally enamored with the genre itself, And so then as I was reading, this was high-level reading. This was modern mythology for a younger human being. And I really thank them for helping me read, putting together phrases and imagery that you couldn't get anywhere else. You know what I mean? You couldn't get in the movies because the technology wasn't that good yet. So comics were where you got them. And at the time, you were either a DC or a Marvel guy. You had to pick, right? You might collect both, but you liked one more than the other. And for me, it was Marvel. Why? Because of Fantastic 452. Because it was the first time I saw my image in a comic book, and I was like, yes, Wakanda forever, right? And then John Stewart came along, and a few people came along in DC. Thank you, Denny Cowan and Neil Adams, for that. Neil Adams I know personally, and he's an amazing human being. Those things help me to this day. You mentioned Silas Stone and Victor Stone. See, the Silas Stone that I'm doing is the one that is more true to the comic. If you read any of the Cyborgs, you read any of the Justice League comics that Cyborg was in, Silas Stone was a dick. Silas Stone was really about him, and he didn't like what Victor was doing with the powers that he was given, thought he was squandering them. I even changed my hair this next season so that it looks more like Silas. Joe Morton has short hair. I've been wearing it like short and close, the Phil Morris look. But no, I wanted to be Silas this season. So I grew my hair out, and my interpretation of Silas is straight from the comics. It's straight from what I feel Silas would be in this day and age, how he would act and how he would discipline Vic and what he feels about it. And I'll give you a secret to my performance as Silas. My wife is dead. His mother's dead. I had to make a decision about who to save. I chose to save him. I am now guilt-ridden because I have allowed her to die. So when I speak to her, everything that I do is for her. Victor don't need to know. It's not about him. Everything I do is to honor my dead wife. And so he can get mad at me if he wants. He can yell at me if he wants. He can hate me if he wants. But I'm doing something that's in my mind as Silas is a bigger calling than satisfying my needs or his. And so when you see me play him, I waver not, because there's no greater honor than to respect the wishes of a dead whatever. So, and yes, I did pull that from a real place. That's how it spoke to me as an actor, and that's my interpretation. Joe's is Joe's, and it's ironic. Joe played Miles Dyson in the Terminator movies, and I was cast as Miles Dyson in the Sarah Connor Chronicles. And I, in fact, shot an episode with Lena Headey of the Sarah Connor Chronicles, but they didn't put it in because they thought the audience would be confused because Miles Dyson's supposed to be dead. Is he alive? Is he a ghost? What is he? So I didn't do it. But it's ironic that here Joe originated that on the big screen, and then I played it on the small screen. And here he originated Silas Stone on the big screen, and I'm playing him on the small screen. One last thing. The dynamic you talked about with Joe being much more conciliatory and compassionate, and Victor being harder. Isn't it different in the TV show?
Yes.
I'm harder, and he's more compassionate. And I love that. I kind of love that.
Have you seen Zack Snyder's Justice League? Like the full 3-hour, 4-hour?
Twice!
It's such a great movie. I love that movie. And what they did with Cyborg and how Zack got to finish his vision. And I just love what they did with Cyborg in this version opposed to the one we got.
I do too.
Which we don't really talk about. But this, just how Cyborg is portrayed and how... Oh, I love it. And how at the end he plays his father's tape that he was Silas originally gave to him, and how he would flex on that. And it's just such a relatable and amazing stories. And And that's not to take away from nothing. You guys are telling an amazing story with Doom Patrol. So well done. There's been a lot of shocking turns and twists with Doom Patrol that personally have made that show one of my all-time favorites, and just so much fun to watch you in it. And you played, what was it, Dr. Cowboy, Cyborg's imaginary friend. And just seeing that was cool. And it's just like so cool to see where this show is going. Of course, season 3 is coming very soon.
Watch. What?
Without spoiling anything, what are you most excited for us as fans to see in season 3?
How the relationship between Victor and Silas reflect situations that occur in society today. That's really all I can say. It's deep. It's way deep, and I'm honored to be able to be playing this role and be saying these words, and I'm honored that these writers and the producers have seen fit to give he and I an opportunity to reflect what's happening in society and our relationship on screen. It's very special.
Was there an emotional moment for you this season as compared to other seasons, or what was different compared to like season 2 and this season?
In season 1 and 2, I am reflecting more of what Vic is going through, right? And in season 3, you hear more of what Silas intended for Victor and why Victor is the way he is. Comes out of what Silas was going through in his own journey. And more emotional it couldn't be, because the first 2 seasons, I mean, he almost kills me in season 1. And I'm in the hospital bed with tubes. It's like, it's so beautiful. Those scenes that they write for us are so beautiful. I remember rehearsing, and Rebecca Rodriguez was a director who's Robert Rodriguez's sister. I shouldn't say that, because I know she's a brilliant director on her own. And here we are, right, talking about being the shadow, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure she's like, Philip, I wish you wouldn't say that. Anyway, she's a brilliant director. She directed that episode. And in the rehearsal, just in reading the lines, I told them, I said, look, I can't keep this together. So just know that when I do this and I'm emotional, it's not that I don't know the words. It's very hard for me. So we would rehearse it, and they'd go, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, Phil's fine. It's Silas." And they go, "Oh, yeah." Well, in this new season, we go there again. I mean, it's deep, my brother. It's deep.
How does it feel to be a part of this? Being a DC fan. It's not the first DC project you've been a part of. Of course, we're going to go into it. But how does it feel to be such an integral part of Doom Patrol?
I can't believe it. I just can't believe it's like a dream come true. You're talking about your heroes. Imagine if you took that and now you're doing movies, and we're in a movie together, and it's a superhero movie, and you're playing Jon Stewart, and I'm a guardian of Oa. I know this is a deep dive, but you know what I'm saying. You would be like, what the heck? How did I get here? That's how I think every time I'm on the set. I have another project that you're definitely going to want to talk to me about. I can't even mention what the show is, but it's massive. And it's my voice, so I can say that. But it's beyond. And when you find out what it is, and I can't even. I want to say, but I can't. We're definitely going to be talking again, because it's a mind-blowing. However many episodes we do, I'm not even going to say. But I know I'm thumping and I'm stumbling, but because I love what I do so much, because I feel like I've been doing studies since I was 6 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, they go, you saw the stump. I got what? They say, John Jones. You're going in for John Jones for Smallville. What? I walk in the door. I'm like, I know, dudes. You have no idea what I know that you don't know. I've got it in my. When I was doing this new show that I can't talk about, they were going to tell me about the universe. I walked in and they were like, okay, Phil, let's tell Phil about this universe. I go, look, I know you've worked with me before, and I've said this before, but I have 20,000 comics. Let's not waste time. I get it. I know all about this stuff. So let's just test drive the voices, right? Let me know if I'm in the back in the neighborhood, because I know this is going to take a long time. So don't waste my time, and I don't want to waste your time. I know what's happening. Their minds were blown. They're like, most of our actors have no idea Hold on.
Is it an animated project or live action? Good answer. All right, so let's keep talking about Doom Patrol because I just really love this show.
Please.
What was the most shocking moment as Silas that you've portrayed?
Getting damn near beat to death. You know, where I'm trying to. It's the episode where we're at the ant farm, and we're trying to escape, and he's glitching. Vic is glitching. You know. And so I'm trying to get him to leave, and you have to trust me. And his computer is telling him that I'm a threat. So, right? So that I'm like, you gotta, and he's like, no. And he starts, and he hits me and drives me out into the hallway and starts to beat the crap out of me until he stops himself. He's like, oh my God. Well, that was just, I was shocked by that, you know, shocked by the violence of it and that he could go that far with it. And, you know, I mean, yeah, we're acting, but still.
That was such, I remember that scene. I was like, what is happening? I was just like, this is insane. Oh God, he's going to kill him. Thankfully he did, and he's back, and we see him. And of course, you know, to just go back to talk about like Silas serving a greater purpose than what he wants or what Vic wants. He remember a scene from season 2 where he was walking and Robot Man was talking to Silas about getting a new body or something, and Silas was like, no, bye, and like kept walking. It's just like, no, I'm not gonna do that because
can't do that.
What was the line you said? The line was, what Cliff did to you was criminal, yeah. And if I do anything to you, that's gonna make me an accessory, so I don't want to be a part of that. And that was, I was like, wow, this same Silas, man. And I'm just really excited to see season 3. I mean, I can't wait to just talk about that more and see what you guys got planned, because it's only going to get crazier. I mean, for people who haven't read Doom Patrol or who have read Doom Patrol, you know that it's insane, the cosmic level and just the depth and just like stuff it goes into. Y'all don't even know. Like, it can really get deeper. It can really get deeper than it already is, which is insane and just so amazing to witness and to be able to talk to you about. I love Doom Patrol, but you know, Silas is a great character, but one of my favorite characters of all time that you portrayed in the DC universe, Martian Manhunter in Smallville. Gotta ask, what was that like? Since you are a comic book fan, you know who Martian Manhunter is. So how did you feel when they said, hey Phil, you're Martian Manhunter, come tomorrow.
Well, it was it was a long gestation period. I auditioned and I didn't hear anything for a while. And then the producers from Canada, because they shot up in Vancouver, came down, and then we all went in and auditioned for them. Then another couple of weeks went by, and then I got the job. So I was kind of like, oh my gosh, am I going to get it? I got to get it. Of course, I want it because I'm a comic book guy. I'm like, I want this thing. And then I was like, oh yeah. And I'll tell you, the funniest thing was like, so we're shooting. It's great. I met Tom Welling, and I meet everybody, and they're fantastic. But the coolest thing was when I came back to LA and we're doing ADR, which is where you have to go in and kind of fix audio for the picture. And they show my character flying out of the Kent barn. And I went, ah! Roll it back, run it again. And they show it fly. Like, roll it back, run it again. I must have seen it like 5 times. Because you're now talking to a comic book fan who every day of his life is a child is thinking, I can fly. Dude, I'm the guy, if I woke up tomorrow and I was hovering above my bed, I would look down and go, I knew it! So to see yourself fly out is for a comic book fan, otherworldly. When I'm watching myself fly with Superman into the sun, it's otherworldly. When I'm telling Clark Kent, you are the answer. What? I've been preparing this my whole life.
Martian Manager, of course, is such a cool character. There have been so many variations. Of course, Carl Lumbly played him in the cartoon. I mean, you did him live action. Of course, more recently in the Snyder Cut, we saw him
Harry.
at the very end. And
Harry Lennox.
that's so cool that they made the general Martian Manhunter, and that's really cool. I like that little detail.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I like that a ton. And I hope that we see more of him. But I mean, of course, with Black Adam, we're going to see JSA with Dr. Fate and all those characters. So who knows? You might see him in that movie because we're seeing Dr. Fate. And of course, in Smallville, you got to play around with Dr. Fate. And I just got to ask, what was that like to just see that, the helmet on him and the blue suit and him just...
It was perfect. The wardrobe people on that show are ridiculous. That they dressed me how they dressed me was phenomenal. I looked at myself like, you're like an intergalactic shack, aren't you, bro? Aren't you? I had the guns. Come on. It was great. So those wardrobe people are fantastic. The actor who played Fate was brilliant. And then we had Hawkman was in it. Stargirl was in it. I mean, fabulous, fabulous characters. And they all looked so legitimate. I mean, DC, Warner Brothers DC, there's really nobody does it any better in TV. That's for sure.
Yeah, and just so cool to see Martian Manhunter live action. I think that was the first time we ever saw him live action too, if I'm correct. It was on Smallville.
I think so. There might have been a funky movie that was done before, and I think David Ogden Stiers.
There was a massive movie, with Martian Manhunter. It was like a canceled plot, and then Martian Manhunter never got made. Exactly. But yeah.
And then we have the Martian Manhunter from Supergirl. David plays him in Supergirl.
Can't forget him. Yep, Martian Manhunter. I'm just so glad that this character is getting so much more love nowadays because Martian Manhunter is one of the coolest DC characters, in my opinion, out there. I love Martian Manhunter.
So I get to set. You tell me when you're tired of these set stories, but I get to set. And I've worked with Tom Welling. I worked with him once on one of the episodes, and then I came back up to work on another one, and he goes, "Dude, I've been doing my history, my homework on Martian Manhunter. You're like the third or second strongest dude in the DC universe." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. And I can shapeshift, and I can morph, and I can read minds, and I got so many more powers than you, Superman." I was just going at it, dude. I love him. Michael Rosenbaum, I love that whole show. They're awesome.
Love that. I can't wait to... I'm going to Dragon Con this weekend. I'm going to see both of those two. Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum. It's going to be so crazy. I'll send you the pictures. With me in my little geeky costume talking about some...
Holy.
Martian Manhunter is such a cool, calm, and collected character who brings a lot of order to the Justice League in general. But another character you played that was sort of this calm, sort of stoic character, Saint Walker and Green Lantern, the animated series. I love your portrayal of Saint Walker. And that's another character that is so freaking underrated. He is not in a lot of stuff. If you look at the list of things Saint Walker's been in, only 3 things. It includes you, a little side video game, and like a Lego game. But like, what's that to compare to like a Batman or like a freaking Martian Manhunter who's in like almost every DC game out there? So Saint Walker just deserves so much more love. I mean, you played him beautifully, and just like how you tackled him, I freaking love it. I love it. And it makes me so mad that show got canceled. I'm so angry. That makes me so mad. I was talking to Jason Spies.
Oh, they did such a great job. Josh Keaton and Kevin Mike and Greta Lyle. There are 3 legendary voice actors right there. They were fantastic. And I love Saint Walker. It's one of my favorite animated characters I've ever done. He, Vandal Savage, a couple others, but Saint Walker was. And when I went in there, I didn't know what they wanted, and I said to them, "So, what are you feeling from Saint Walker?" I kid you not. They say to me, "He's like a martial arts master." I said, you guys know I teach Kung Fu?" They were like, "No." I was like, "Oh, I got this. I got this." And so, yeah, that's what you saw. And I love him because he's blue. He's hope. He is all about hope and love. And so, yeah, we need a little bit more Saint Walker. I want some people at DC to be watching this interview right now because we need more hope. And we need characters like Saint Walker to come and not just bring the heat and the anger and the aggression and the violence and the thing, but hope and the light. And that's what I like about Saint Walker.
Before we dive deeper into Green Lantern animated series, and I nerd all out like I have been this whole interview already, but how did voice acting get introduced into your life?
It's everything in my life is kind of crazy. When I was a younger actor, or a young kid, I wasn't even an actor yet. I mean, 8, 9, 10 years old. I did voiceovers for secular movies and TV shows, like Easter is, Christmas is. So we had these kind of regular characters that we would play. So I had this character that I would play like twice a year. And I'd go in the booth, and there's even a picture of me on the mic at like 11 with a big old afro. And no, it's funny. So I got started that way, so I was familiar with it. My father was a huge voiceover talent at the time, Greg Morris from the original Mission Impossible, which I always have to give him honor. Love you, Dad. He was one of the first actors to do sponsorship car commercials and stuff like that. And then, so I was aware of the voiceover world. I met Paul Frees. I met Mel Blanc. I met a lot of these people that were, June Foray. This was before I was even in it at all. One of my father's very good friends was a man named Frank Braxton. He was the only African-American animator on the Jay Ward, Rocky and Bullwinkle staff. So I loved animation from an early age. How I got started now, they were doing a movie called Mulan. Disney need to approximate what Eddie Murphy might do, because he got the role of Mushu. But the animation is so intensive, and it's such a long process. You're not going to hire Eddie Murphy for 3 years to do that. They're going to hire an actor to come in, so the animator's going to get started on what they call a scratch track. Then they bring Eddie in for the final. So I worked for them for like about a month on what I thought Eddie would be doing. How Eddie might sound in this scene, how Eddie might sound in that scene. They played for me a little bit of his reference. And so I did that, which was great. And then they came to me with another scratch track to do for a movie called Atlantis. And I did the scratch track, and I said to them, look, if you don't find a Morgan Freeman or a Danny Glover or some celebrity to do this character, Dr. Sweet, look at your boy, And so my agent called, and they were like, you're the guy. You're Dr. Sweet. I'm like, what? So, my voiceover career started in a Disney movie. And then I was doing the series. Then I got the PJs. Eddie Murphy was doing a series called The PJs for Fox. And he didn't want to continue to do it. So they brought me in, and they said, well, this is what Eddie's doing. Why don't you take it home, work it out, blah, blah, blah. I came back. They're like, great. They recorded me in a booth off to the side, and they would put me in when Eddie didn't want to do the episode. But I recorded every episode. So you'll see me in the credits for the PJs, but as Thurgood Stubbs, but Eddie was the guy. Eddie was the man. And at that time, Kevin Michael Richardson says to me, who's your agent? I have one. So he hooked me up with his agent, and the rest, again, is history.
Wow. Oh, my gosh. Just the voice acting industry is so kind, and just people there in the industry are so wonderful. I mean, just how you guys interact with one another and how y'all help one another out. I remember I always love telling this story because that's one story that really sticks out in my mind. I was speaking to the voice actor David Sokolov, and he played Shockwave in Transformers Prime. He was Transformers kid myself. But Transformers, at the same time the Shavers was going on, they were making a video game series with Shockwave in it. Steve Bloom was auditioning for the role, but before he even did it, he called Dave and squared it all off with him to make sure it was good before he even took the role of Shockwave in the game. Then Dave was like, all good, and Steve became Shockwave in the Transformers video games. I freaking love that. Just how you help one another out, and just how every voice actor I've spoken to is so nice and just so willing with their time. And I just think it's so different from other industries with like big name actors or just like music. I've spoken to musicians, and sometimes they have a little toot or just like a little snippy at me, like I didn't even do anything. I just asked a question, dude. I was just talking, and it just kind of has this kind of just like meanness about them, but every voice actor I've spoken to is just so willing and so kind with the time. And I just love you guys. I mean, I know you're more on camera with your work, of course, legendary with it, but just voice acting, I love it. It's such a great industry, something I'd love to break into one day, because just you guys are great. And Kevin Michael Richardson, I mean, that guy's a legend. He's been in almost everything.
He's got one of the most amazing voices of all time.
Have you seen? I remember I was watching an interview, and he just went from his old like roar to like this high, and it didn't crack, didn't break. He sounded perfect. I mean, he does Cleveland Brown Jr. on the Cleveland Show, and if you didn't look at the credits, you couldn't even tell it was him, because just like how different his regular talking voice is.
He's amazing. I mean, you mentioned a bunch of them. Rob Paulson. Not only are they wonderfully talented actors, they're some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. You're just the nicest people you'll ever. I don't know why. I mean, you're right. It is different than on camera, and maybe because on camera we're looking at ourselves. There's a lot more ego going on, a lot more hubris, because it is more about your jawline and your hair and all that stuff. I'm walking like this to a voiceover. I can have a hat on, turn it backwards, and we rock it. I can play a Chinese bus driver, an Italian cook, whatever. But you're limited in what you can play on camera because of what you look like, right? So people like Yuri Lowenthal, Rob Paulson, Frank Welker. I mean, man, the list is long. Tara Platt, Tara Perry. I mean, just gone, man. Kari Walgren. I could go on and on. Tara Strong. These are beautifully talented, amazingly grounded, gifted people. And maybe because we're all in a booth and we're all there and we're all trying to play off each other. I don't know the reason. I just know that they're gracious. That's a good word for them.
Love it. To go back to Green Lantern, the animated series, and of course talk about Saint Walker, amazing character. What traits in Saint Walker do you relate to the most?
I'm fairly calm when trouble is brewing. When stakes are the highest, I'm the calmest. I have a sense of his third eye is open. He moves in a way that's beyond his conscious mind. Through my training, I have similar qualities. I have the ability to not anticipate but sense the energy, so I can parry it or I can deflect it, or I mean that's really valuable for a martial artist. So you're not like oh my god, here they go, oh my god, so that you're in a flow more. And he has a great dry sense of humor, which is really underrated in the world today. We need to carry our sense of humor with us a whole lot more than we do, and people are getting a little too serious out here.
No, yeah, most definitely. That laughter, one of the most important things you could do. Love laughter, and Saint Walker is just, yes, that's dry humor. I noticed. I remember the episode where it was you and Razor or on the planet, and you were just talking. And
he's attacking me, and I'm just jumping from limb to limb. And do you have a problem? I don't know. Do you have a problem with you? You know what I mean?
Yes, that dry humor comes in clutch in fights like that. What is your favorite moment with Saint Walker? What is one moment in the booth playing that character that really sticks out to you?
The moment when he's at the mountaintop, he's being told to climb. And the answer will be told to him who the hope of the world is. Who's the hope? Who is the hope? I believe, Saint Walker believes it's the planet itself that is a sentient planet that is the hope. And I mean, who else other than this? Who else could it possibly be? And so it tells me to go to this mountain, climb. And so I climb, and I get to the top, and there's nothing there. There's nothing. And Saint Walker says, well, did you do this to me? Are you having fun at my expense? I mean, what are you doing? Where's the hope? If there is no hope, you mean you're telling me there is no hope? Saint Walker says, I don't care if there's no. If there is going to be hope, then let it begin with me. I don't care if I'm being shown the sign or not. You haven't shown me. You've let me down, but I will not let us down. I will fight, and I will go on beyond it. And bing! That's when the blue ring comes, and he looks at it. What? And they cut that to the next episode, which is me coming down in the middle of a battle, and I'm blue, and I'm the first Blue Lantern ever. he turns into the hope. This is a great metaphor for us who are listening. We're always like, where is it? Where's the answer? Who do I have to go to? What do I have to do? What do I gotta go? No. You're the answer. You're the hope. You're your own filter. You're your own guide. Have faith in you. Be strong in it. Know that you are, when I go to train, and I'm tired, and I do not want to lift another weight, I think to myself, Philip, you are stronger than you think you are. You are stronger than you think you are. And ultimately, I get through the workout. But that's what Saint Walker was. And that's the most beautiful part of that character to me.
Yes. Gosh, I love that metaphor. Saint Walker is such a cool character. And like I said, hate that it got canceled. Did you guys talk about what you wanted to do with the third season? Or do you know anything that they wanted to do? Or did it just get canceled?
I was a guest star. I wasn't a regular. So I wasn't privy to planning and on all of that. I'm sure they were very disappointed that they didn't have a third season because they were so good at it. And I really did enjoy the animation. I loved the style of the show. But no, I had, that's not part of the conversation they would have with me.
What is your favorite Lantern Corps besides, Saint Walker?
Maybe the Purple Lanterns. Passion and love. Yes, the Purple Lanterns, then the Green. And so those are my three. The blue first, purple, then green.
I love the Green Lantern mythos. That's one of my favorite, things to learn about in the whole DC universe is just the Green Lantern verse and the different corps and the different leaders of the corps. Of course, you have Atrocitus as the Red Lanterns, Lafreeze, Orange, I think is green is what orange is, Passion, of course, purple is, I can't remember her, but all the leaders, how
Carol.
No, go ahead, tell. Do you know who it is?
No, Carol Danvers, right? Isn't that who became the Purple Lantern?
Yeah, Star Sapphire was her name. Yep.
Star Sapphire.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. Yes. No more than me. Look at you flexing your little comic book knowledge on me. Yeah. No more than me. But I love the Lantern verse. Out of all the DC characters you've played, Vandal Savage. Oh, love Vandal Savage. Your portrayal, real quick before I ask, I love your portrayal of Vandal Savage in Justice League Doom. So just cold and calculated and so cool and so suave. I just love your take on Vandal. It's very different from the Young Justice portrayal of Vandal. If you've watched Young Justice, where he's
I do.
I love that show, and he's just very different. And what inspiration did you take to help create Vandal?
He's ready. May not be a popular answer. He's a very smooth Hitler. That's who he is. World domination, superiority. Everybody's inferior to Vandal, even the people who work with him. Doesn't matter. He is the end all and be all. He's the Omega and the Alpha. And if you watch the first episodes that I was in, which are called War World, or the Savage Time, I think it's Savage Time. Anyway, I get confused. That's who he models himself after. That's the stormtrooper uniforms. They're wearing the epaulets and the high boots and the goose stepping. It's a pretty straight ripoff. And so when I saw all of that, I realized who he was. My favorite villain to play in the DC universe is Imperiex from Legion of Superheroes. He's just hardcore evil, full stop. Vandal's very smooth, very nuanced. He's a smooth criminal. But Imperiex is just like, I'll eat you. You know what I mean? So that's the yang. That's heavy yang. And then Vandal's more yin. You know what I mean? He wants to convince you to give up your life for him.
I don't think you could have described Vandal Savage any more better than that. Yes, he's just does whatever he needs to get the job done to take over the world. I mean, we've seen shows like Young Justice. I mean, he's willing to work with people like Darkseid to get what he needs to get done, bring apocalypse to the world. So love Vandal. But back to my question was, out of all the DC characters you've played, which is the most fun you've had playing?
Animated or live action, either? Both?
Yep. DC, just in general.
The most fun. This new one that I can't talk about. It's badass.
Oh shoot! Okay.
Badass. I'm having a great time with Silas. You know, love John Jones, blah blah. But this was a little special, a little different. Well, a couple things in there that was very challenging. It was a very challenging gig, but I think we freaking nailed it. So I'm very excited to see it. Very excited to hear it, and there's some things going on in my world that are just beautiful. You know, like we talked about Secret Saturdays, or we haven't talked about. We mentioned it. If you look at that dynamic, you know, Doc is obviously black, and then his wife is obviously white, and then the kid is obviously mixed. That's awesome for a Cartoon Network show. That's brilliant. And so to do that, it's like John Jones. White, black. You know what I mean? But how beautiful that he's African American. I made a justification about it in terms of John Jones, Martian Manhunter, is an alien on the planet Earth. Who among us in this country feels more alienated than African Americans in their own country? So my choice as John Jones was that he consciously chose to become an African American so he could feel the same thing he felt as a Martian, but in human guise. So he didn't want to take away the fact that he was an outsider. So he picked the human guise that most resembled his own inner workings, and that was an African American. And I asked the creators of Smallville if they chose him for that reason. They were like, "No, but we're going to steal your explanation in every interview we do." And I guess my point is, you know, they're always asking me about diversity in Hollywood and you know, when are we going to get it right? Well, I think we're really trying to get it right. Have we figured it out yet? No. But there are signs that ears are open and eyes are open, doors are open. And when you see predominantly homogenous creators, white creators I'm talking about, create a dynamic like Secret Saturdays, create a character like John Jones and make him an African American representation. When I go through the storylines that we're going through on Doom Patrol, and these writers are predominantly, you know, white, I know that we have a shot. I know that we have hope, and that's very encouraging.
Yeah, and I mean, stuff like Black Panther or, you know, On My Block, like stuff like that just really tries to encapsulate the experience of being African American, or for Black Panther, what we were kings and queens of wonderful lands in Africa. And I love Black Panther. That movie is so great. I don't care. Y'all can hate it all y'all want. I see a lot of Black Panther. I love that movie so much. And may God rest Chadwick's soul. I mean, such an amazing actor and what he brought. And gosh, and I can't believe, like, a couple days ago it was a year since his passing. Like, I still can't accept that he's gone. I mean, like, the talent that he brought to that character, or any character, Get Up as James Brown, Thurgood Marshall, he brought it regardless, and that is shown none of better than in Black Panther with what he did. And I don't know what they're gonna do with the sequel, but, you know, just may he rest in peace for what he's brought to this world and how he inspired so many. But to talk about Marvel, you know, you've played a ton of DC characters. I haven't really seen you do a lot of Marvel stuff. Of course, not by your design. You did Morgan Michaels and Spider-Man PS4. But if there's one role that you would really like a shot at for Marvel, who would you want to play?
Silver Surfer.
Dang, that was fast. You were like, Silver Surfer.
I'm waiting to do it my whole life. I look just like that dude. Shave my head, my body. I mean, I'm 6'1", 185, 190. I mean, you know, I'm ready, bro. I'm a martial artist. I'm limber. I ride a skateboard.
That's so.
I love his philosophy. We're going to do another deep dive. You tell me when you got to cut it off, because I committed this time for you. One of my favorite comic books, probably my favorite comic book of life. Silver Surfer #5. Silver Surfer #5 is a storyline where the Silver Surfer, who's been imprisoned by Galactus here, cannot soar and search the cosmos like he was before. He's a prisoner. In the comic book, in the beginning of the comic book, he's like, forget this, dude. I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna, burst some cosmic power over here. It'll shoot over there, and I'm gonna escape over here. And he hits the barrier so hard it knocks him out, and he falls all the way back to Earth, and he lands in the backyard of this black astrophysicist. And the physicist comes out, and he's like, "Whoa, I know this guy. This is the Silver Surfer." He goes to touch. Whoa, he's hot. What the heck? Re-entry, right? So he wakes up and he kind of nurses him back to health, and he's like, what were you doing? And he tells him, I'm a prisoner here, I've got to escape. And the physicist goes, that's a great challenge. I will meet that challenge. I will help you. What we will do is I will make this contraption, we'll put it to your body will be the energy source, we'll confuse the barrier, you'll escape, no problem. Well, while he's trying to figure that out, some rednecks happen upon him. And they're like, what are you doing? What are you doing with this stuff? What's this gear? What's this? Is it a weapon? What's wrong with you? He's like, no, it's not a weapon. And so they go to beat him and literally lynch him in the comic book.
What? Wait, what comic? I've never.
Silver Surfer #5. And he has a bomb, and the bomb goes off. And it's this gaseous bomb, and the bomb kills him. While the Silver Surfer is up there trying to escape, and the surfer realizes there's something wrong. And he forgoes trying to escape Earth, which he can do, to go back and help his friend. It's too late. His friend has been killed by this bomb. So the Silver Surfer, now he's trapped. He's no longer going to escape. He's lost his friend. And at the end of the book, at his gravesite, he leaves a cosmic eternal flame on his grave. And that's the end of the book.
I've never heard of that comic before. That's amazing.
My favorite.
Could you imagine if they made that into like a solo Silver Surfer movie, or like a tie-in to the main Fantastic Four? Because I know they're going to make a Fantastic Four reboot. Got announced at Comic-Con, I think last year, that they're bringing back the Fantastic Four movie. Still waiting for that cast announcement. But, I mean, we're seeing stuff like Kang was... have you watched Loki? Kang
no, I haven't watched Loki yet.
Oh. Okay, never mind. Ignore what I just said.
Don't ruin it for me, but I will watch it.
Yeah, okay, never mind. So I'm not going to tell you that, but we're seeing the Fantastic Four's villains and such brought into the mainstay. So we're definitely getting the Fantastic Four. And I think it'd be great as Silver Surfer. What the heck? Like, I did not know that story. I never knew that existed until you brought it up to me. That's freaking amazing. Could you... Oh my gosh, I really can't imagine a movie just like that. Just that dark
storyline. Because you cover it all. You cover why he's here, Silver Surfer. You cover why he's been trapped. And then you have a storyline in there that is indicative of what we're going through in our society right now, in a way, right?
Perfect.
Gorgeous, man. My favorite comic of all time.
And I just, real quick, you brought it up, Secret Saturdays, I want to talk to you about, because that was my first time ever introduced into your acting performance. And I love Secret Saturdays, which is another show that got freaking canned, and I hate it. Love that show. Such amazing cast. Fred Tatasciore, Corey Burton,
Diedrich Bader. Yeah.
Diedrich Bader. I think D. Bradley Baker was on it for.
D. Bradley was on many episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, and guys, amazing talent, amazingly stacked cast. What would you describe the energy in the room when recording Secret Saturdays?
Well, it's very similar to the energy in any room like that. Any voiceover room. I could just use it as a template. You have a conglomeration of incredibly talented people, all very diverse. The people that we've mentioned are all very diverse. And not one of them is the same as the next, right? So you have these very, very diverse people and women, men, and they're bringing this. Like I said, they bring heat. They bring everything. They're 100%ers in that room. and it may, I mean, and it's fun. I mean, voiceover work is really interesting because I've been in a room with like Tom Kenny, Dietrich Bader, Kari Payton, John DiMaggio, Nolan North, me. Who else was in there? Who else? But all of us are knuckleheads. All of us. All of us have got the gift of gab. All of us are comedic ridiculousness. And so we're all like, and then the director, whoever it is, will say, scene 7, take 7. Where? Then they start their work. I mean, right up until that slate, they are clowning and having a good time and enjoying each other and singing or doing weird stuff. And as soon as they count that down and then the take 7, everybody's quiet and they freaking nail it. Every time. That was like Secret Saturdays. Fun. Scene 82, take 5. Silence. Work. All right, cut. You know, so I'm telling you, when we are doing it right, when we are really rolling, we're having a great time. Everybody's having the best time and making jokes and with these shoes and that sweater and this, that, and boom, boom. Then they count it down. Boom. Stone cold professionals. Stone cold. Beautiful, bro.
It sounds amazing to be in that room. Since I would consider the Secret Saturday sort of an underrated show, how would you describe Doc Saturday to people who haven't watched it?
He's very similar to a lot of the characters that I play. He wraps his arms around it. You know what I mean? He's the big picture guy. He's the one that has the sentient, compassionate energy for everyone. Like the wife is she's a warrior, bad. And Nicole Sullivan is a badass, right? If you ever saw her on Mad TV, incredible. This is an incredibly talented woman. So that was exactly how the wife was in Secret Saturdays. The kid's a kid, right? The kid's trying, you know, he's the answer. He's the answer. Very similar to Silas and Victor, where I'm trying to make sure he doesn't blow it because you are the answer, bro. You know, learn the lessons. Let's grow up. No, kids, time is over now. So he's a very mentoring, warm, guiding star. That's Doc Saturday. Smarter than everybody. Smartest man in the room.
Since you were sort of the main character in Secret Saturdays, and the show didn't continue, did you have any like ideas? Did the writers talk to you about doing another season, or and if they did, what were they planning on doing next?
Going deeper after Corey's character, because that character we kind of did away with him in the second season. We kind of battled him back. So I think that the next seasons would be about him coming back, recovering, coming back, and being even worse than he was before. The secret scientists, I think, were going to be a big part of it, not just us, the Saturdays, but all of them, so that we would come together like the Lantern Corps against this great evil, which would have been fantastic. And we were all shocked. Now I'm gonna tell out of school here, and I hope that the creators of Secret Saturdays are not watching. This is why. I go to Comic-Con one year, and now remember, we auditioned for a lot of stuff, and I'm up doing Smallville, but I got to go do Comic-Con. So I come back, and as I'm in Canada, I get the job for Secret Saturdays. Now you got it, it's great, you got it, oh great, Secret Saturdays. I don't know. I'd auditioned for tons of stuff, I don't know, but I got a job, it's awesome. I come back, I'm in the elevator, these two guys get on. They're like, whoa! It's our Doc Saturday! Bro, what's up? How you doing? I don't know them. They hired me off a tape. I don't know them. So we're in the elevator, and they're like, where are you going? I'm like, well, I think I'm going to go to the Warner Brothers party. Oh, you got to come with us to the Cartoon Network party. It's right down, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, sure. So I go to the Cartoon Network party, and they're introducing me as the star of their show, and I don't really know them. I don't know. I ended up getting, obviously, to know them very well. But it was so awkward for me because I really wish that I had more of a bead on the job I had gotten, so I could like talk about it and I was completely out to lunch, man. The best acting job of my life was being. I'm so excited. I can't wait to do the show. It looks so terrific, and I had no idea, none. And then when we started doing the show, obviously I was like, this is amazing. This is an incredible show. But yeah, that was my first blush. Was like I got it, and I met with the producers and the creators, and I didn't know what I
couldn't imagine putting me in that situation. I'd be like, dang, what y'all doing? What's going on? I'd be so
yeah. Hey, back up off a brother. No, dude, it was all good, all love.
What was your favorite thing about the world of Secret Saturdays?
How weird it was. It's like Doom Patrol. You know, I didn't know about a lot of these urban legends. I mean, that was their thing. You know, the chupacabra, and going after urban legends that have been myths, Bigfoot and all kinds of crazy creatures that I was not familiar with. But of course, the creators were, because they had done tons of research and had reams of villains and creatures that we were going to go after. But that I thought was a really interesting take, one that I'd never seen before, where we're going after these urban legends as though they were actually real, because they were actually real in our show.
Yeah. Secret Saturdays is a cartoon that I really love, and I'm very upset. And what you were describing, what they were trying to do with season 3, just sounds like it would have been so cool to see. But apparently, what I looked into was that Cartoon Network completely mismanaged the show and how they promoted it and pushed it out. So that's why it didn't do as well. And I guess since it didn't do well, they're like, done. Which sucks. I mean, Cartoon Network, more recently, I haven't really watched it. And since everything is streaming, we don't really go to like TV shows like Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon as much. We go to their streaming platforms like HBO Max or Paramount Plus or whatever. But, you know, shows come back all the time. So I don't know, maybe they'll bring back, if they don't bring back Secret Saturdays, at least bring back Green Lantern, the animated series. Like, come on, man, that show was golden. I want to see Jason Spizak back as Razor become the Blue Lantern. Or I want to see you come back as maybe more of a mainstay character, teaching him the ways of the Blue Lantern.
It would be great. The yin to his yang, you know what I mean? It was great.
Would have been.
I love those songs.
But now we're going to get into the fun part of my interviews called Weird and Wacky, where you have 1 minute to answer a series of weird and random questions. No one has answered 15 questions, although the championship holder, the great Simon Norfleet, has answered 14 questions in a minute. Do you think
1 minute?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'm about to start the timer in 3, 2, 1. Longest time period without taking a shower.
2 days.
Least favorite food to eat.
Avocado.
Say it again.
Avocado.
Movie that you loved growing up.
Godfather.
Movie franchise you wish you were a part of.
Matrix.
Would you rather get bitten by a dog or stung by a bee?
Stung by a bee.
Favorite brand of soda.
Ginger ale.
Would you rather be able to jump high or run fast?
Jump high.
Would you rather have your whole hand cut off and keep your teeth, or would you rather not keep your teeth and have your whole body parts?
No teeth.
Dumbest thing you did as a kid?
Tried to squeeze my mother's hand, who was a piano player, and she almost crippled me.
Current TV show you're watching?
Bosh.
Favorite brand of music?
That's not me, bro.
Favorite brand of music? Like favorite genre of music?
R&B.
And there you go. You answered a record of 11 questions, but don't fret. You did better than the average, and it was kind of cut out for a little bit. So you did better than the average. So don't even worry. You did fantastic. And now I'm going to transition to my final question for you. And I just like to say, this has been an absolute honor and a privilege just being a part of your work for a little bit and getting to know more about you and seeing the joy you have about your work and how passionate you are, and just the energy you bring is so amazing, and it just resonates with me, who just, I love picking up on positive vibes and meeting new people, and I just love that. So thank you so much again for giving me your time. I hope you've enjoyed your time here, and just, it's been such an amazing experience. But my final question to you is, what is your current message to the world? If you were given a mic right now and had to broadcast a message to the world, what would you say? Obviously, we're living in a global pandemic. Laws are being changed around the world. Things are changing every day, and it's scary out there. So what would you say to the world?
You're okay. It's all right. None of us knows. We're all afraid. None of us has the answers. No one wants anything from you. Don't be afraid. Accept and love joyously. And we're all trying to work on it. Give yourself a break.
Heavy on give yourself a break. I think sometimes we're too hard on ourselves. Of course, we always want to be better, but we got to remember at the end of the day, we're people. We're not perfect. We're not God. We're not this omnipotent being. We're regular people. We stumble, we fall, we cry, we get emotional. We're humans. We're not robots. So we have to remember that even though when times get tough and we feel like we messed up, there's always tomorrow, and there's always time to be a better person, and to remember to love and live the life that you want, and just remember that it'll all work out. So couldn't agree more with that message. Thank you so much, Phil, for joining. You did fantastic. Is there anything you want to plug before we head off?
I can't. I did an IG live the other day, and I'm like, I love all my friends who are saying I'm in this and I'm in that, and I would love to say how many things I'm doing and what I'm in, and I just can't. I have one thing I will say. There's a movie that we did called The Ghosts of the Ozarks. It's a brilliant film with Tim Blake Nelson and David Arquette, and I play an incredible role, and a man named Tommy Hobson is the lead. We are going to be premiering it at the Austin Film Festival in October, and we're very, very, very proud of that film. It is an incredible film. I'm also in a Black Lady sketch show on HBO Max, so support those women. They are geniuses, and they're brilliant. They're beautiful and talented, and they're really, really doing some special stuff. So those are the two things that I will leave you guys with.
Congrats on everything you got going on, Phil. Thank you guys so much for joining. I hope to see you next time. See you all later. Have a great one. Thank you.